on the implications of the Trump-Vance ticket for energy, big tech, corporate taxes, and more. Let's bring in TD Cowen's Chris Krueger. Chris, conceptions, misconceptions, what do you think we need to correct? I mean, are we overstating the significance of his choice, his ascension to the ticket, J.D. Vance's?
Well, look, I mean, it's a historic pick for sure. I mean, it's also more of a governance pick, meaning that there were some obvious electoral picks, I think, who would have really moved the needle in the Electoral College, whether that's Nikki Haley or Glenn Youngkin or other. You know, J.D. Vance, very much a MAGA enthusiast, MAGA supporter for those America First principles in the Senate. And I think it really underscores what a second Trump administration would look like, really leaning in on trade policies, immigration policies that are driven by, you know, former President Trump's America First policies. When you look at some of the core themes that we see at TD Cowen happening regardless of election outcome, the selection of Vance really underscores four of those themes: higher deficits, more protectionism, greater industrial policy, and the continued U.S.-China decoupling. Vance really, I think, on all four of those, really will advance the ball downfield.
A lot of people are saying that this is the end of any party championing small government. David Bahnsen has been quite critical. For instance, he's been a frequent guest on air, but he's worried that this basically turns the U.S. more into something European-esque, where both parties are statist. And if you believed that a more vibrant economy, a more competitive one, comes from a smaller role of government, is there anywhere left where that's even a policy choice? Well,
look, I mean, I think, again, this sort of underscores the unwinding of globalization, the realignment of the Republican Party that started in 2016 when Trump beat Hillary Clinton is now, fully in play. It wasn't just Vance's selection yesterday at the convention that underscored that. It was also the president of the Teamsters speaking from the Republican convention floor.
Yep.
Right. So I think you're seeing the realignment is now there. This is not George W. Bush's Republican Party. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party, and J.D. Vance, as the vice president, should really put any questions of that to bed.
The only pushback that when I sort of think about it, I go, okay, well, we did see tons of deregulation. I mean, they talk about this all the time, but kind of going line by line and trying to take out regulations where they aren't necessary and kind of unhindering businesses in that way. And we know that revenues, because of the tax changes, fell to something like 17% of GDP from maybe closer to 20% historically, something in that range. So, in other words, it was true that in a way government revenues, I don't want to say declined. They weren't as big maybe as they had been in the past. So is this actually an administration that's not necessarily a big statist, interventionist one, but one that actually looks more like the traditional Republican administrations of the past for all of its policy changes, or you might say all of its bluster?
Well, I think it's going to be very sector specific, right? And candidly, very company specific. We saw that in the first administration. You look at the Republican platform, you look at some of Senator Vance's policy positions, particularly in the oil and gas space and others. I think you will see meaningful deregulation, across varying sectors. But when it comes to, other sectors where Vance has been more skeptical, whether it's some of the big banks or the rails, right? That was sort of a signature moment for Vance with the East Palestine train derailment. So I think it's sector specific. Big isn't necessarily bad, but smaller is better from a business standpoint, I think vis-a-vis regulations and potential antitrust.